Hi, and thank you, and welcome back. This is a fun one. Well, in retrospect, I guess it's fun. There was a time when I think I was about 18 years old when I had an occurrence there that wasn't all that much fun, but I'll come to that in just a second. So, this is the Beer Depot, and it's located at 114 East Williams Street, and it's got quite a history to it. So, let me give you the background. So, the original Ottmeyer Eberbach family residence, the building the Beer Depot is attached to, was built in 1875 and occupied by the Eberbach family until the Harris Tire Company began use of the house in 1928. The drive-through addition was built in 1938, and eventually Harris Tire expanded their showroom into the adjacent red brick Queen Anne house. Later, the Harris Tire Company was replaced by the drive-through Beer Depot. The Eberbach family retained ownership until 1974. For years, the fact that the business was a drive-through that sold beer and wine kind of made the Beer Depot a landmark. When we took it over, this is from the Beer Depot, when we took it over in 2005, we were no longer allowed to keep the drive-through because Michigan law prevented it. Oddly, it's okay in Michigan to sell beer and wine in a drive-through, but not if your liquor license allows you to also sell distilled spirits. The building is also an Ann Arbor historic building, so there are limitations on remodeling and restoration. So the building you see today is dedicated or is dictated by those guidelines. And that's from the Beer Depot online talking about this building and the history. Here's a note from me. When I walked by at age 74 at the time, I'm quickly coming up on age 76. When I walked by at the age of 74, camera in hand, it did not look nearly as big and intimidating as it was when I was 17, slowly shuddering into the drive-thru to buy a case of beer for me and the boys. I drew the short straw. So I think I still have post-traumatic stress from going in. I always was the oldest looking guy in our group, but I told him when I got into my 70s I would be one of the youngest looking guys. But at that time, to go in there was pretty intimidating because they had a button that could close that door just as quickly as they opened it. And fortunately, I was able to get in, get my case of beer, and get out of there. But obviously, now at almost 76, I still remember it, so it was a bit traumatic. This is also dedicated to my dear old friend, John McAllister, who was not in the car because John looked too young, but he was with me that night. All right, so comments from other people when they saw this originally when I first posted it on the Ann Arbor County site. Somebody said, I remember going there in the 50s with my dad getting beverages and us boys getting pretzel sticks in the drive-thru. Somebody else said, love driving through for a snack and a six-pack. Somebody else said, they were half the reason I grew long sideburns when I was underage. I can kind of relate to that one. Somebody said, yeah, try going through that drive-thru with a 1972 Buick Electra. My friend had the fake ID. I was a nervous Nelly, but I got her through without knocking anything over. Lots of memories, too, for the Beer Depot. 1901 perspective, what else was happening in the country and the world in 1941? Well, of course, we've got December 7th, Japanese surprise attack on U.S. fleet in Pearl Harbor, brought us into World War II, a day that would live in infamy. Congress passes the Lend-Lease Act, giving President the power to sell, lend, and lease war supplies to other nations, notably Britain, which was critical in terms of the war. In that year, 1941, in Citizen Kane, Orson Welles subordinates all previous technological and cinematic accomplishments to his own cinematic vision, and he created a masterpiece that is still enjoyed today. It goes back and forth for me with Casablanca as my all-time favorite movies. Also that year, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt is inaugurated for his third term as the U.S. president. And 1941, Germany begins the siege of Leningrad, which lasts until 1944. Just think about that, the millions of people that died in that war and the disproportionate number who were Russian citizens. All right, so that's a look at the Beer Depot. I hope you've got your own memories, and please don't hesitate to share your memories of the Beer Depot. I find this to be actually a fascinating photograph because it's old meets young or new, and that building that was under construction to the right is a full building at this time. So I might stop by and take another look at the Queen Anne house, which you can't see, which would be on the left of this photo. And it was part of the original building and the residence, as well as what we're looking at now downtown. So, as always, if you want to get advance notice of the postings, hit the subscribe button. There's probably 40 more locations, and they're all in the area of 6 or 7 minutes. So they're quick history for you. So enjoy, and as always, please stay tuned. All right, thank you.